BB851, turn right, heading 180. 14 Papa, turn right 245, report localizer established 27.
The flag carrier of Qantas has posted its worst loss in a century of flying. This annual loss is at US $2 billion and comes following the crippling state of the aviation industry within Australia, which has damaged the state of Qantas naturally. The carrier has already ceased international operations, or should I say suspended, and this will continue well into 2021. In fact, putting aside Trans-Tasman services, there's a very high chance that the airline will not be flying internationally until at least after July 2021. In making this decision, it means the vast majority of their portfolio of aircraft are parked up in various different locations, and their domestic schedule has also been heavily reduced. Jobs cut will also be decided by the end of next month. However, these are at the moment planned to be at around 4,000 to 6,000 positions, this making a relatively big dent into the workforce of the Australian carrier. On top of the changes being made to the workforce, the airline has said that it has raised an additional $1.4 billion in equity, and this was already on top of the standing $1.75 billion that it did have. This long-term funding will further secure its hopefully long-term status as well in the aviation industry for many centuries to come, as that now being 2020, it celebrates 100 years. As we know, Qantas has already said goodbye to its Boeing 747s following an accelerated retirement, and currently its Airbus A380s continue to be parked up in the desert as the carrier no longer operates international services. At this point, Qantas says that it has 100 aircraft in storage. At this point, they're aiming to get their Airbus A380s back flying within 3 years, and they believe at the same point they'll also be finally able to get their operations back to a pre-global pandemic level as well. Lots of questions have surrounded the future of the A380 within Qantas, so it's good that we're now getting some firm idea on when they're hoping they will return, and that they will return at all. It's important to remember though that the A380 is not the only aircraft they have for long-haul operations that needs to return. They also have their newest addition, the Boeing 787, which is used on services through to the likes of London from Perth, throughout America, Asia, and of course in the future, many more routes. In a statement, the Qantas Group Chief Executive Alan Joyce said, "The impact of COVID on all airlines is clear. It's devastating and it will be a question of survival for many." Further adding, recovery will take time and it will be choppy. See, unlike other countries, Australia has essentially trapped all its citizens in the country. They are not permitted to travel, not just between, say, some specific states domestically, but also they cannot leave the country internationally. And the governments are not budging on that. While here in the UK at the moment, it's possible to travel to destinations in Europe. The decision to trap citizens of Australia in the country has resulted in an alarming drop in demand to travel, obviously. Qantas, for instance, relied heavily on its international services, also alongside their incredibly popular and world-renowned Melbourne to Sydney route. This is a service with flights operating every single hour, with typically you being able to catch a ride every half an hour. However, with that, and in addition, international services scrapped, the airline is now having to look at preserving cash for the long haul. If you have any thoughts on the situation that I discussed in this video, especially noting the return of the Airbus A380s and their estimate of 3 years, do not hesitate to let me know. Thanks very much for the continued support. I hope you enjoy what's left of your weekend, and I will see you tomorrow for the next video.